Hello friends, this is Ryan Hicks of TaughtToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about a little different subject. This is people posting hateful comments and trolling and stuff like that. Now normally I wouldn't give these people any airtime because I don't want to just put out their negativity. But I thought, you know what, there's a way of taking these negative things about me, which I don't care, putting them in a positive light and bringing positivity to these people. Maybe some of them will change, maybe not, we'll see. I'm not putting the stuff that's obvious trolling, but when people are angry or emotional, they're having a response to something that they didn't understand, those kind of comments I want to respond to because I think there's at least some validity there. They're not necessarily trolling. Maybe they are. It's hard to tell sometimes. More subtle trolls, it's hard to tell. But I think this will be beneficial. So here's a comment from somebody. This is on my video I did called The Evil of Selfishly Choosing to Be Poor, Helping Self Only or Helping Others as Well. This video was not about that being poor means you're evil. I never said that at all. I never said that everybody chooses to be poor. I said that there are people who choose to be poor. They're born into certain circumstances where if you're born in the United States of America or almost any Western country, you have many opportunities available to you. And when you choose to be poor in the best situation you could possibly be in all of humanity, if you look back in history and look at all of humanity and the things people have struggled, even kings lived worse than the quote-unquote poor do in the United States of America today. We have refrigeration, we have electricity, we have this, we have that, we have air conditioning, we have heat. We have so many blessings. It's so easy. If we want to go somewhere, we can go 30 miles in 30 minutes. Where it may have taken them days because they're going and they're having to cut trails, and we have it so easy today. And so for somebody to not find success when you have so many blessings available to you and you have so many opportunities, they're choosing to be poor. They're choosing to have only enough for themselves and not to expand and be a blessing to other people. They want to be blessed so they can bless themselves. And I'm trying to get people to be blessed so they can bless themselves and other people. Yes, take care of your family, of course, that's your first and foremost priority. But expand yourself, you can help other people. You don't have to be this swamp that only takes in. You can be somebody that gives out and has an abundance, not so you can just have more things, but an abundance so you can give to other people. You can't give to other people when you have nothing or when you're having to take. But when you have more than you need and have an abundance, then you can be a giver. Then you can do for others where other people don't do for anybody besides themselves and their family. That was the point of the video. Obviously, people born in extreme poverty in bad countries that do not have the same opportunities and freedoms, they may have certain difficulties, but they can still do better where they are. You can outthink people, you can outwork people, you can still do better wherever you are in the world. Don't give me this excuse, there's just no opportunities here. There's always an opportunity. If you live out in the jungle, there's opportunity for you to do something better today than you did yesterday. So don't hold yourself back. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's especially easy when you do live in countries that opportunities just everywhere. If you live in a country where there's not a lot of opportunities, you can still take the opportunities that are available to you. There's something available to you that you can do, that you could do better. I'll give you an example. In Africa, water is an issue. Now there's many countries in Africa, there's over 50 of them, in various states of poverty and disrepair and issues. But some of these people live in areas where there's no water, and they have to walk 8 to 10 miles a day to get water. Well, here's a simple solution to make your day better. Move closer to the water. I understand you can't live right on the water because you're more likely to be in the way of predators who are coming to get water themselves, and there may be more mosquito-borne viruses and things like that you would attract when you're being right on the water. But you can move closer. You may say, well, the land's harder to get or whatever. There may be other things, but look and see what you can do to get yourself closer. Or let's say, hey, let's get enough water so we don't have to go every day. We can go every other day. There are things you can do, even in the worst situations, where you can make things a little bit better and you can have an abundance and help other people. Even in that situation where it seems like it's one of the worst situations you could be in. There are things you can do to make it better and bring an abundance to yourself and to other people. And so this guy comments on my video, a rich guy telling us how bad it is to be poor. You were probably born with a silver spoon and had $1 million loans like Trump. You suck. Well, no, and it is bad to be poor. I'm not saying poor people are bad. That's not what I said. It is bad to be poor. I hate poverty. Poverty is terrible. It is a horrible thing. And so, yeah, I hate poverty. I don't hate poor people. I hate poverty. I grew up very poor. I remember food stamps when there's literally stamps. You didn't have the pride of having what looked like a debit card or a credit card. It was literal stamps that were embarrassing because you had to pull them out and rip them out of a stamp book. It was embarrassing. And you were made to be embarrassed because you were getting something for free that you didn't deserve. So I know what poverty is like. I grew up extremely poor. Where charities would bring food by for Thanksgiving and Christmas time because we weren't going to have anything. I remember one Christmas getting a soccer ball because a charity group brought that for me, and my brother I think got a football because we didn't have anything. And they knew we had so little that people knew to come by our house and give us things because they knew we didn't have anything. I certainly didn't have any inheritance. I certainly didn't have $1 million loan. It's ridiculous. I had nothing. Grew up extremely poor. And I remember one time, I'll tell you how poor we were, because this may be a little hard to understand. I'm not talking about today's standard of poverty. I'm talking about extreme poverty where your house was falling apart. Where I remember one time waking up to construction workers' voices that were working on the other side of the fence where I lived, and they were laughing because look at the house. Duct tape's holding it up because there was duct tape on the wall on the outside to keep a hole from expanding because there's a hole in the wall on the outside of the house. So yes, I know poverty. I know what poverty is like. I understand it. I grew up in it, and I hate it. I don't hate poor people. I hate poverty. Poverty is terrible. It's terrible to have your kids grow in poverty. It's terrible to be in poverty. This is not a way to live. And you can't do anything for anybody when your life is a train wreck of poverty. Poverty is evil. It is destructive. It hurts people. It keeps people sick. It keeps people depressed. It keeps people down. Poverty is an evil. So yes, I want to encourage people to be wealthy so they can have an abundance and help alleviate some people's poverty. Now I understand not everybody's going to be rich. Not everybody's going to get out of poverty because some people will not do what it takes to get out of poverty. Not all poverty, but a lot of poverty is self-caused. People choose to not do enough to get beyond where they are. And that was what my video was kind of dealing with, was just people who choose to be poor. They could do so much more, but they refuse to. They just do just enough to get by. And they whine about being poor. Oh yeah, they would want to be rich if it meant winning the lotto, but if it meant work, hard work, oh no, we can't do that. I understand poverty. I grew up poor. I understand poverty. I hate poverty. And I don't want poor people to continue in poverty anymore. And if there's something I can say that can motivate somebody and just be like that light switch going off in their head, say, you know what? Yeah, I could do more. I can get out of this. There's hope. It's not a lost cause. I grew up extremely poor. I had zero advantages. You can talk about privilege and all these things people have. We had no money. It was poverty. We did not have much, but you can rise above that. And as many people have said, I think Andrew Carnegie was one of them, that being born into poverty is actually a blessing because you can see what it's like to be poor, and you don't want middle class. Middle class is just a little prettier version of poverty. You want to achieve everything possible. Doesn't mean to accumulate things for yourself. You just don't. You want to be so far away from poverty that you can't even go back there if you tried. Poverty, being born into poverty, you understand poverty. You understand the negativity involved around it, how bad it is, the bad circumstances that it causes. that can be a motivating factor to keep you from ever going back into poverty, to keep you from this just enough contentment with failure, not contentment with just life, but contentment with failure, contentment with mediocrity, and never achieving and striving to be better each and every day. And so many people who are born into that have an advantage. So if you're poor, you have an advantage here. These middle class people will probably never get above where they are because all they see is middle class and they think that's perfectly fine. That's where you settle for. But you know what poverty is like if you're poor, and you can get out of this and you can make it. Don't tell me you can't make it. Well, you don't understand this. I understand. I grew up poor. I understand poverty. I understand walking down the street when I was a kid with my friend and us getting shot at and having to duck onto the ground, dive onto the ground because we were getting shot at from a drive-by. Don't tell me I don't know poverty. This is ridiculous. And don't give me all your whiny excuses about why you just can't do it. That's a lie. You can do it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It is not. But if you live in a Western country where you have so many opportunities available to you and so many safety nets, so you can't even go hungry because there's a food bank and there's this and there's that. There's all kinds of things to keep you from going hungry even. What's the worst that can happen to you? There's shelters, there's food, there's free shelter. Go for it. You're already poor. Go for it. Shoot for the stars. Try to accomplish the most you could possibly accomplish. And you'll be amazed at what happens. As long as you think you can't do it or you're just poor, you're not poor. That's just a current financial situation that you can get out of very quickly because you're going to do more than other people do. And you're not going to sit back and just relax in that poverty and think that it's all right because you can do more. And then in turn, you can help other people around you because you know what it's like to be poor. I don't talk about what I do as far as helping poor people and things like that because I don't like doing that. I don't like the right hand knowing what the left hand's doing. I don't like that kind of stuff where people do things in order to tell other people about it. It's awful. But when you become wealthy, you can do so much more for people. Instead of being with them, suffering with them, miserable with them, you can help raise some of them up. Not everybody's going to want to go with you. Some people are going to see hard work and they're going to run from it like it's a plague. But many people say, you know what? Hey, if he can do it, I can do this too. I know that guy. He was poor. Now he's wealthy. I saw what he did. He just worked harder and harder, and he worked smarter, and he was always constantly learning and improving himself. And if something didn't work, he changed it and made it work, or made something new work. I can do that too. And just your success alone will raise some people up because it'll motivate them, and they'll see there's potential there. That's one of the biggest depressors in poverty is that people don't see any out. They don't see any hope. They literally feel hopeless. And I'm telling you, you can be born poor. You can grow up extremely poor. You can have no advantage. I didn't have college or anything like that. And you can become extremely successful. You can make great strides in life, and you can help other people and be a blessing to other people. I hope this has been a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.